Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphan Last, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm going to go ahead and include you in on a commission sort of experience that I had. Now, when you're working on a commission, oftentimes you are dependent on feedback from the client. And sometimes the feedback that you need takes a week. Sometimes it might take a day or something like that. But in this case, Quadro, he would respond pretty quickly, but sometimes it would be like several hours after illustrating something. And even still, that right there, it made it so that I don't have really quite a finished image for you guys but at the end of the video. But I want to kind of talk about this experience here. Now, Quadro is the client, and Quadro is a brand new YouTube channel, or at least that's how I see it. I see how many videos he's got, and I'm thinking that's a brand new channel. And his channel is centered on a video game called Enlisted. And Enlisted is a video game that's free to play, and it's very similar to something like Battlefield 4. And I like the game. I think it's a fun game, and having it be free to play just tells me it's a video game that I will never be able to complete, which is awesome. I can't beat the game. The game's going to be entertaining forever. So anyhow, and then I see his content on YouTube when I start searching for content dealing with the video game Enlisted. And it reminded me of Level Cap and Matimio when they were covering Battlefield 4. And I really like that. And so I kind of reached out to him after looking at his channel art. And what he's got currently is fine. It's nice, but it doesn't quite ring out as a channel that's making it big. And within a short period of time, Quadro has gotten like 5,000 subscribers, which is phenomenal. Him attaching his channel and centering it on Enlisted has been very good to him. And so I said I would love to make a logo for you. And so he reached out to me. I wound up showing him some of my illustrations. So he knows I'm good. He knows I'm really good at illustration. But logos are challenging to me. Okay, and the reason for that is because a logo is not an illustration. Most of the time, a logo will be a series of silhouettes or a silhouette. That's pretty much what it is. Think Facebook's F. Think something like Twitter, the silhouette of a bird. But there are logos that have been a little bit more elaborate. Don't get me wrong. Wendy's, that's a kind of a really simplistic, stylized sort of illustration of a young girl's face. But the main thing is that you can't have a lot of clutter on a logo, because a logo needs to go big, the size of a billboard, and it needs to be able to go slow, the size of a letterhead, okay, like 1 square inch. You need it in color. You need it in black and white. And when you need it in color, you need it in RGB, and you need it in CMYK. Okay, so that you have a digital version that's distributed across websites and digital media, and then the CMYK version is for printed media, and then the black and white version is for, letterheads and such like that, or generally things like flyers that need to be mass-produced or something like that. So I wanted to come up with something like that, but the one that we wound up focusing on was this one, the one that's on the screen right now. And I like this one. There is a way to simplify it more than what the sketch is. Right now, you look at the sketch and, it's probably too complex to be a logo with that. And later on in the video, I actually wound up doing some Google searches for logos that are tanks, because I was running into kind of like this brick wall, feeling like, wow, can I make a logo out of a tank? I keep struggling here. And then I wound up seeing a logo that is very, very, very similar to the one that I'm currently working on the screen right now. And so I now know that this logo design, something akin to it can work. And in the past, I've mentioned that illustration artwork, it is the artist's game of chess, only it's a game with its own set of rules, and it's a single player game that you play with yourself. And this is that game of chess where I feel like I lost the first round, and I kind of want to have another go at this particular attempt at this logo design. Even if Quadro winds up happy with the logo that I'm going to wind up eventually finishing for him. And by the end of this video, I actually do have a sketch of what that logo will look like. It still needs a few little modifications. The tank needs to be wider, but yeah, basically it's pretty much finished up until, like, with the sketch. It's pretty much lined out and complete. But the last step is just making it out of vectors so that it can scale up and scale down without losing resolution and such like that. But yeah, this footage continues on and on with me working on this version of the tank, and it is disappointing to me that, you know, this didn't work out, but, you know, it is what it is. It will work out eventually, I guess. If Quadro doesn't want the version that I eventually wind up working on for this particular design later on down the road, that's fine. Or if he does, I'd be willing to give it to you, give it to him, because it's just like I just feel like this commission is more of I guess a labor of love, I guess, because, like, even though this is a commission, I am being paid for this. I like the video game. I like Quadro's content. I like all of that. And since I want it to kind of stick around, I'm willing to work at a reasonable price. You know, I was never happy with the colors either. You can see me getting frustrated here. I'm just like playing with it, and I'm like, this is all coming out completely wrong. And yeah, even still, the footage just keeps continuing with me working on this one. And the treads, you know, I wound up zooming out of this design. I'm like, wow, every single thing just winds up making this look like a blob when I zoom out, when I make this a very small object. And eventually he mentioned, you know, this looks more like a modern tank. Can you make it a World War II tank? And so I wound up revamping this design over and over and over again, and until it was just like, you know, it doesn't even, I don't know. I need to start from scratch with a sketch in order to really refine it better, this particular version of it at least. But after showing him a number of little steps in progression, it became clear that, at least to me, it just became clear that he wanted me to take a different approach, and so I went ahead and started taking a different approach, and I felt like I needed to take a different approach as well. It just, nothing was working out with this design. Yeah, here I'm almost done making this look more like a World War II tank. You can see me popping up a reference of the World War II tank and looking at it and trying to figure it out. And even still, yeah, you can see it's not going to come together. And so what winds up happening is I start working on a series of sketches, and I get him saying, yeah, I like that one. No, I don't like that one. But the thing that seemed like it helped the most was when I actually started looking at other people's designs of logos that happened to be of tanks. And I said, do you like this one or this one? And he wound up actually saying the logo that looks like the Newgrounds logo. He says he likes that one best, and so that's what I decided to go with. So here, with the footage here, you can see me kind of starting to kind of give up on it, and just talking to the client. And you know, here I go ahead and pop a reference onto the screen and draw out a version of the logo that I drew out earlier, but this is me fleshing it out better. You can see that I'm making things more symbolic, more simplistic. The treads to a tank are actually extremely detailed, and yet I made the treads very big, and so I thought that would make it so it could translate into being a logo, and he liked that. But after showing him the Newgrounds logo, this is when I took that design and I skewed it in multiple different directions, and then I started to think of it as an isometric drawing where we're looking down at the tank. Now, the only adjustment that I need to make to this tank at this point is I just need to make it wider, and that'll make it look a little bit more imposing, more threatening as a tank. But ultimately, what he wanted was for this to be a logo where his dog is driving a tank. And I feel as though by the end of the video, I've reached the point where I have a proper sketch that represents exactly what he wanted. And yeah, you can see me kind of working out the final details to it. This is a series of silhouettes. Most of it is a silhouette. And if it's not a silhouette, it's going to be a thick line, something that's readable. You can see it all coming together here, and I'm liking it. I just need to settle on the specific cartoony style that's simplistic, that can translate into being a logo for the dog. That's what I need to work on next. So, yeah. Here's the final version that we've settled on. Eventually, I'm going to come out with a video for you guys where I'm going to actually work on this with vectors, start to finish. We can go ahead and discuss that when the time comes up. And I feel like I was pretty productive this week coming up with this. It was pretty fun. And Quadro's a really fun guy to talk to. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys would like to get more notifications from me, feel free to join my Discord server. A link to my Discord is in the video description below. If you'd like to support this channel, there's an image of a t-shirt in the upper right corner of the screen. It leads to my Teespring. Any support with the purchase of a t-shirt would be much appreciated. And if you've enjoyed this content and would like to see more, feel free to click on anything else that's appearing on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your time.